Good morning. I'm going to have a quick sip of coffee before I even start talking. Oh, it's so good. I'm on this new, I don't know, way of um, being, we'll say, with my eating and drinking, and I'm inspired to wait 2 hours after awakening, maybe an hour and a half before my first cup of coffee because it helps with lowering or controlling cortisol, which doesn't help with um, the menopausal woman's tum. So I'll start off this video with just a little bit of that and just say good morning. It is May 24th, 2025, and there's something in my eye. Doesn't help. I just wanted to pop on this beautiful Sunday morning. I'm looking out my front window and enjoying the antics of a new group of baby bunnies who love to, oh gosh, they're about this big. And, how no one knows how many um, litters of bunnies this mama has out there every year, but I have this circle in my front yard of daylilies. It's probably about 3 feet in diameter. And there's a light pole going through. And I notice when I clean out the gardens in the fall or spring that there's a few like burrow holes, warrens. And so yesterday and then this morning, I've just been sitting here watching them bounce, jump around. They're so cute. And what a wonderful way to start your day, watching baby bunnies jump around in the yard with the sun glistening off of the dewy grass, the birds just singing their little hearts out. And I did when I went out back this morning in my porch. It smelled like the lake. It had that kind of smoky, fishy smell. I don't live too far from this gorgeous lake just west of Minneapolis. And every now and then I'll catch that whiff and I'll hear the loons, which is another amazing nature sound that just brings me to centers me right away. And when I smell a combination of oil, gas and fish, which is if you're out in a little motorboat on a lake, kind of have that little hint of gas smell, and then the fish. Although I don't fish because I don't like baiting anything on a hook, it just literally freaks me out to pull anything out of the water on a hook. I started when I was quite young. But those smells, they just are wonderful, kind of earthy smells and just bring up joyous feelings because it just reminds me of earth and home and life itself. So I thought I would just kind of bring you up to speed. I think it's been a week since I last posted a video. And, I've been struggling with uploading videos, honestly, because it's just me. I don't have a team. I don't have a webmaster. Why bother with that? I can do things myself. Some YouTubers have a team because they are really busy and they have a lot of videos and they have a lot of followers and subscribers, and that's great. I'm so happy for them. But it's just little old me, and sometimes it takes forever for the videos to upload. So I think I have figured it out. I went and I purchased an Ethernet cord. So I just plugged my laptop right into the router. And that did speed things up. And then I left the page open. I didn't let it go to sleep. I kept the browser page open. I changed the settings on that so that it didn't take almost 24 hours. I mean, when my videos are uploading, then all the other internet digital devices I have are really slow, and it just kind of interferes with the rest of the day. So, a little bit of housekeeping I got out of the way. Take another sip of coffee. We are living in, as I've said before, and I will continue to say, very interesting times. Glorious times. Brutal times. And I say that because the joy and the brutality of being human are coming together, and sometimes they do clash in the chaos of awakening. And I've just experienced something in the last 48 hours that once again helped me on my path of ascension and my soul merging in a greater capacity with my humanness. And I feel it. I feel it in these challenges, which is wonderful because my eyes are wide open when things occur, situations. This happened to be something at where I work. And it had to do with something that I've done for this place I work for 3-4 years. I've provided this particular service for them with a very clear understanding of the financial picture involved with me doing these services. And happily, I love doing what I do. And I say this very vaguely because the meat of the matter, the details are not important. What's important is the energy around it and how I walked through it. So I have encountered a few personalities where I work that I used to be, if I won't use the word intimidated, if I won't use the word intimidated by, I will say affected by. And these are personalities who I encountered in high school and as a young adult and upward female archetypes of, let's use the word betrayal. Let's use the word with underhandedness. Acting in such a way that was a great surprise to me because I go through life, and I was having a conversation with my girlfriend last night about this. We're quite the same. And she's the one, Lori, who I rode on the back of my ponies with. And so we, as 66-year-old female adults, that we can still have these conversations, heart to heart, soul to soul, talks, is a gift. Because who else am I going to reminisce with if not for her? And she and I are on the same page, and we know exactly what, and we basically go through these experiences similarly, parallel. And so this situation at work that happened maybe 6-7 months ago, which just took me by surprise because I thought that these gals, co-workers, were, let's say, work friends, but that wasn't the case at all. And I found that out in a very roundabout, backwards, underhanded way. And I dealt with it as best I could. And it's okay now. It's in the past. I learned a lot about myself through that experience, as I do believe my soul walked me right through there. And it happened again, just the last 48 hours, with another individual who, as I say, who we had an agreement that I would provide these services for the club and be paid for these services But it was questioned this year. It was questioned like it had never happened before, like this was something new. And somebody else from the club alerted me to this, and we went back and forth through emails, and she asked me questions, and I explained the whole situation very clearly and objectively. I did not subject my feelings of confusion into these emails because I'm a professional and it's my job at work. And what I really learned from this experience, and I'm sorry if I'm being vague, but I learned more about myself, that the person who did not know, and I'm speaking for myself, the person who walked through life as a child, a teenager, a young adult, a middle-aged woman for many, many years, who really didn't have the confidence to speak her mind because it was important for me to be liked and accepted into groups. I know past lives, many past lives, I have been exiled and betrayed, probably burned at the stake for speaking my truth. My very important to me in my life is to be truthful. And that is why I just assume, probably in error, that others are being truthful in turn, which is not often the case. And I cannot blame them, but they should know better, that to tell untruths, to make situations different than they truly are. And when I ask them face to face, you need to be honest with me. Can you tell me? Can you please help me understand why you did this? And again, here comes untruths. I just need people to be honest with me. I can handle it. I will tell them. I can handle it. You need to help me understand what if I did anything that was unprofessional or wrong, please tell me. And 9 times out of 10, people cannot do that. They would rather just go around you, tell somebody else. Anyway, so yesterday happened and it's all fine. I am not at all concerned. I know my soul not challenged me, walked me through this once again so I could come out with the understanding that these are the final days of awakening, of ascension and mastery. And if I can walk through these situations as a master without explanation, without any apology, I did nothing wrong, without feeling small. This is my soul telling me I am no longer allowed to be small. I am a grand being. If anything affects my job or I'm questioned, my actions, I am questioned, I just know it is because, and most likely it will happen again with other situations, so that I can experience the feeling of empowerment to be my authentic self. This is who I am. This is what happened. And continue on without any further explanation. And it feels really good. It feels very good. And then last night I had a dream, and it was another flying dream, but it was a different kind of a flying dream. In the past, I used to have flying dreams. Let's say in the 80s and 90s, I remember my dreams. I kind of remember times too, and I used to journal, but I don't anymore. But I don't know about you. Some people, I say my flying dreams, and they're like, what? But then there are a lot of people like myself, who dream of flying literally through the air. I used to dream that I was always worried about getting caught in the telephone wires, the electrical wires. It was always a concern. I would either try to stay underneath them in my dreams, and then I was a little worried about flying high over them, because then I was again, hard to describe, but I think the feeling was, if I was too high over the wires, how would I get back down through them, down to earth? And I also dreamt of animals like horses. One dream I had dozens of years ago, and the horses would jump up from the ground at me and nip at me, nip my feet, nip my hands, and a few dreams they would just clamp onto my throat. Very disturbing. And I had these dreams analyzed, and I understand that had to do with communication. The animals nipping at me. But the dream of flying over and through the wires, and I understand that that's the grid, the earthly grid. Last night I dreamt for the first time that I remember, because some dreams, of course, I'm not going to recall, that I was flying freely and happily above the wires. There was no concern, and I recognized this in the dream. I wasn't concerned about the wires below me. I could see them, look down. I was way above the rooftops. And I was curious how I had gotten that high, way above these rooftops. And I knew that what was below me, you know how hard it is to describe a dream and the feelings involved in the dream. But there was a feeling of liberation, let's say, of also not excitement, but determination, I guess. And then all of a sudden in my dream, I had landed, and I was surprised that I had landed right in the spot that I meant to land in without getting lost. In other dreams, I will end up somewhere where I didn't intend to end up. And then confusion sets in, and then I don't remember the dream. But there's always a bit of hesitancy, being unsure. But last night I just landed, and I was right next to a dear friend of mine who I have in this lifetime, who looked at me, and she was with, I think, a child. And she asked me, it had something to do with the election that took place last fall. And it was something along the lines of, if this doesn't work out, are you prepared for what to do next? Very, very clear question. And I said, absolutely. And then I found myself, again, the dream evolved, and I was in an area unfamiliar to me. Usually when I dream, I revisit places often, but this was a brand new, it was like a construction site. But it wasn't anything being constructed that I'd ever seen before. But there were workmen, and going back a few minutes into the dream, that's what I was flying over as well. I knew I needed to get up and over this construction area. I don't remember why, but I remember just doing it as easily as can be, and the people below were like, "Whoa, look at her go." Then I was up above the wires and above all the houses, and then I landed by my friend. And then I was in another area, and I was leading I think they were children, but they were adolescents, let's say, through this area, and the ground was quite a little slippery, like a little muddy slippery. But I was leading them through an area that was slightly dangerous. There is a slight element of danger involved, like stay on the path. I mean, this dream was so literal. And then there was another construction site and some dogs. And then I don't remember anymore. But I know this wasn't a dream of warning or fear or analysis. This was a dream of my soul basically telling us, you're above the grid now. You're above the chaos. And and it has a lot to do with what I just dealt with in the last 48 hours. And everyone around me are teachers. Everybody around me that I've invited into my world are angelic teachers to help with these challenges in life, especially when it has to do with self-worth. And I feel so worthy of being me. This dream acknowledged that. My soul invited me into this beautiful experience of flying high over a construction site. Construction site is basically something new is being built. And the fact that I was flying high over it with freedom and joy, with no concern about those wires. And then I landed in the right spot. I knew where I landed. I recognized it. I landed just where I intended, with near my friend, who asked me, "Are you ready for what might come next?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then I was a guide through little slippery areas. And they're children or adolescents, so they might be, I might, who knows what will come next. I'm ready for anything, because I feel very confident that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. If these life challenges, and they're not, some challenge, it doesn't really matter if it's a big challenge or a small challenge. It's something presented, I've created to present to myself, my soul, and my soul. This is my human self, Paula. My dragon self, Crystal. I'm an aquamarine water crystal dragon, for those of you who know me. And my dragon is my mastery. My soul is the essence of my true self, free, 100% whole. And I've felt in the last 48 hours or maybe a few weeks different, because I am not small. I don't have to pretend to be small and to please people for their own sake. I've always been like that. Here, let me help, or I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm never going to say that again. Ever. I make a promise to myself. I can be who I am, and I can stand in my truth and my light. I don't have to be the one who talks her way out of situations, or pretend that, or take the fall for someone else's inability to to be responsible for themselves. And this dream was a gift. I woke up with understanding it completely. And then I talked to my guide, my beautiful, beautiful friend, and it was confirmed as that is indeed why such a dream occurred. My soul self. And then when I was thinking about it too, my whole body went into chills. And that was an energetic response. That doesn't happen often with me. And I felt, again, when you get the chills, well, I was quite warm. And then when I realized what basically the dream was, and how, for those of us, again, I'm going to bring you into the fold. It's to do the work. I've done the work for years and years. Many of us have, meaning the inner work. Our external world is a reflection of our internal self. That's all it is. It's a mirror of what's happening inside. And when these situations pop up, whether in family, friends, work, your activities, your hobbies, where you're presented with a situation, it is for your benefit. And so it's good to just take a moment and consider what's really going on and stay true to who you are. And that takes work. A lot of inner child work, as I say. My inner child, I know, was with me. That could have been somebody who I was leading last night in my dream. Bringing her along, letting her know it's okay now. I gotcha. This is good. Even though 2-3 weeks ago, I was in a really dark place. I can say that without any concern because, as I say before, I'm a Scorpio. I tend to go down deep, and I will probably do that again. I don't mind, although it's when I'm down there, when I'm in that really deep, dark, because it's kind of deep and dark, and it could be the demons not really trying to attach themselves to my higher energy, although I don't give that much attention because it's not that important to me. I know I can just, like a dog off a flea, I can shake those off, surround myself with me, my energy. My energy serves me. And if it's light, that's so be it. But these are grand times, and we all have the opportunity to grow beyond measure and just keep expanding in our truth and our love and our compassion and our light, because there are helpers everywhere. And I believe yesterday, because I was so calm in my reception of these emails sent to me questioning why I was doing what I did, I was so calm. Instead of trying to defend myself, I just explained the situation as it was. And I know that it was my team. I'm a dragon. I have a star family who is with me close. I have my soul. I have my mastery. So it's a team, but it's a unique to me, my signature, my essence, and I am walking tall through this life. And what better way, even though 2 weeks ago I was I won't use the word depressed because that's not correct, but I was questioning why I'm still here. Why am I still here? The limits are getting confining. I've done everything I can possibly do. I'm tired, very tired. I am tired of being around people who are so limited in their thinking and their actions, and they have no concept of compassion to others. It's tiring. And then these things happen, and I feel so free, liberated. So hang on. Hold the line. If you feel yourself really getting tired of this life and this game that we are playing, you never know if you just talk to your guides quietly. Whether they talk in return, it doesn't matter. And know that you are very special, and good things, life will get easier, was the title of my last video. This video will be flying high in freedom. So just hang on. I am here if you ever have questions. There are so many enlightened souls on our planet now that at some point the scales will tip, if they haven't already, in the light's favor. I'm sure it's already happened energetically, but if we think about the human count, which I have no idea, but I would think, feeling the way I do, and knowing things that have happened on our planet that are quite positive, even though my claim to fame is don't watch the news, even though the news will say otherwise, that we are headed in the right direction. We're headed in a positive, golden age direction. So if you're feeling like, what's the use? Why bother? I just would rather take myself out and move on to the next life. Hang around, stick around. Good things are coming. And there's no way we could experience this any other way but by being our true selves now that we came in as when we were born into this lifetime. This was the promise that was given to us that we forgot. And we are remembering the words that we are grand beings with a divine essence, with skills, and, we can be the next Marvel comic. We can be invisible, we can fly, we can manifest immediately. These are gifts that are ours, that are in our DNA. So with that, I must have another sip of coffee. And just to say hi to my little dragon, put her down here. This is Crystal, representation of me as the crystal water dragon. And here's my crystal, or my aquamarine dragon egg. And then, of course, we will ring the bell for the children who are in a dark place, and we will lead them out of the darkness into the light and fill their hearts with love. They are worthy. They are important. They are loved beyond measure. And because I'm growing my channel, please subscribe. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Share this with your friends and leave a comment. Play well together. We are very special humans. As I've said in other videos, there is no grander being in the cosmos than the human being. And you are one. And I acknowledge you. So I would like to ask you to acknowledge those that you meet on the street in love, with a nod and a smile. You never know what they're going through. And with that, I will say namaste. Have a beautiful Sunday, and we will see you soon.